It's about the statement issued by the United Nations resident coordinator in Sri Lanka, Mrs. Hannah Singer Hamdi. She says that the right of assembly of people includes the right to hold peaceful demonstrations, and threat restrictions imposed as a uh, measurement against the pandemic should not or must not go beyond the legitimate protection of public health. So actually, when it comes to this statement, it's very controversial and it's biased because we can see the soon after this statement was issued by the United Nations resident coordinator in Sri Lanka in Colombo, the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka run church in Bopitiya, with the involvement of children, I think around 12, 11-year-old children, boys and girls, they carried out a protest regarding the Muthurajavel LNG power station. So actually the thing is, this type of protest involving children have clearly proven their disregard for the education and future commitments of the Roman Catholic Church for the Roman Catholic children in Sri Lanka. Because when it comes to areas like higher education, we can see Negombo, Vennappua, Chilao, Putlam, Kalpitiya, Thale Mana, where even Mana, where there is a high percentage of population of Roman Catholic people and their families. None of the Roman Catholic, bishops, archbishops in the past did any program to even to suggest to the government to open a like a state university or a public university in to cover this area. It is only myself who suggested the University of Negombo and University of Mana. Not even a long-term strategic development program had ever been recommended for these coastal areas by the so-called Roman Catholic people church, rather who are now concerned about the LNG power plant, power station being built in Muthurajavel, because even during the the Katunayaka expressway and also the Lakvijaya Norochole coal power plant, and also those major two strategic projects in this area where there is a high population of Roman Catholics in these coastal areas, from Hekitta Vattala to Vennappua, Negombo, Chilao, Putlam, Kalpitiya, Mana, the Roman Catholic Church protested. Always they point something and they protest about these strategic development programs. But on the other hand, they all involved after the United Nations, resident coordinator to Sri Lanka, Mrs. Hannah Singer Hamdi's statement of, that promoted this type of, protest during the pandemic period, because no intelligent person would get into doing pandemic period related protest involving the children. But the Roman Catholic priest in Negombo Bopitiya Church carried out this, protest with the involvement of the children about the LNG power plant being built in Muthurajavel area. So we can see, like, without supporting even for higher education, university education needs, and inviting now suggesting to the government to open a university even in these areas, it is actually myself who recommended the establishment of the Negombo Stock Exchange even. So Negombo Stock Exchange, University of Negombo, University of Mana, I have suggested, and earlier I have promoted the Katunayaka Expressway, and also during even before President Chandrika Kumaratunga's period, and it became a reality during President Mahinda Rajapaksa's period, and also the Norochole coal power plant as a solution to this power crisis, often power failures in Sri Lanka. So now whenever a strategic project is carried out in the coastal belt, the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka make it issue to make a protest for some reason, which they take it up, right? So this time, such protests with children must be totally rejected because on the other hand, we can see the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka is having a traditional practice of keeping their people in ignorance without exposing them to education through the public state universities. Or now in this case, they promoted the Bolavalana Benedictine Catholic Institute as to a degree stated university within Sri Lanka, with the where the University Grants Commission or Ministry of Higher Education approval was given to them to issue degrees, award degrees, and BSc, like Bachelor of Science in Business Management and Bachelor of Science in Computer related areas. So now and the government of Sri Lanka obliged and allowed the Benedictine Catholic Institute to award degrees in these two areas under their own hand. That means as a Sri Lankan higher education institute without affiliation to a foreign degree, and then awarding the degree. But then we can see that this type of degrees would not be recognized by the public education system. Neither they would be recognized only by a case by case is the public universities would consider in that case. But these universities only cannot be used or access to get entry into the Sri Lanka government public service or as into the university system as even a lecturer. But only these universities, institutions like Benedictine Catholic Institute providing universities in the long to medium to long term may only have some influence to get jobs in Roman Catholic and Anglican Christianity related business establishments like Dharana TV, Hero TV, etc. in Sri Lanka. Only in Sri Lanka, but even in Europe, the Benedictine Catholic Institute's Sri Lankan degrees, because these are Sri Lankan degrees without any foreign affiliation. So, these Sri Lankan degrees awarded by the Benedictine Catholic Institute under the Sri Lanka government authority would probably lack recognition in even in Italy, after all, which is a Roman Catholic, the main area, foreign country that attracts the Sri Lankan Roman Catholic population for short-term jobs, which results in their families, their children in ruins when the parents leave to Italy, leaving their children in these areas, ultimately. So that now here such degrees only would have limited recognition even in Italy, since they are awarded under the Sri Lanka's own Benedict Catholic Institute, not affiliated to any foreign university. So their syllabuses evaluation, it's a long-term process to get approved by those foreign nations, Roman Catholic foreign nations in European Union. So now especially we can see under these circumstances, the Norochale Lakvijaya power plant, the Katunayaka expressway, those projects had been successfully completed upon my proposals given during and even before the President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga regarding the Katunayaka expressway, and the Norochale power plant also had been proposed to Mrs. Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga. And then we can see now the Negombo Stock Exchange, Negombo University of Negombo, and University of Mena. Now, when it comes to come to these institutions and the LNG power plant in Muthurajavela area, which are my proposals, these things, especially the University of Negombo and the Negombo of Stock Exchange and the University of Mena, these would be state institutions. So they would provide medium to long term, very stable development, sustained development to these people who are deprived, Roman Catholic people who are followers, who are believers rather, who are deprived of a proper, educational background or proper financial support in the medium to long term. Rather, what the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka do is they ask Roman Catholic companies like Selinco, earlier Vanik Incorporation under Mr. Justin Migoda, to open up branches in Negombo, Chilao, those areas. But these business companies are fake. They do false business and they cheat people in Colombo. So ultimately, we can see the Selinco Consolidated, Vanik Incorporation Limited, all businesses affiliated with the Roman Catholic Church, which tried to promote their agenda, failed, and they collapsed because the way of doing business in an unethical, wrongful, illegal means. Now, the Selinco Consolidated had Golden Key Credit Card Company, Sri Lanka's first credit card company. Rather than issuing credit card, what they did was they asked, indirectly they promoted people to place deposits into their credit card accounts. That means they wanted people to put money into the credit card accounts, and they offered a high interest rate. So rather than using credit cards to buy things during a credit risk for consumption, the Golden Credit Card Company under Mr. Carvan Pereira attracted deposits to credit card accounts and offered high interest rate. So this, they made billions, nearly 19 billion they attracted through 27 billion rupees, and ultimately it could not honor these claims and it all went bankrupt. So these monies have been used by Selinco to open up branches of their companies in the coastal area from Hekitta, Vattala, Negombo, Chilao, Putlam, etc. So ultimately, these funds that have been used, invested by majority Sinhala Buddhist people, had been diverted into various, these branch opening and, providing employment in these Roman Catholic areas, which ultimately would prove that they are wrong, because these money had not been repaid back to the people who have invested money there, and they suffer even today because of these loss of money. Even Sri Lanka's cricketers like Kumar Sangakkara, Mahela Jayawardena, they have invested billions in this golden credit card scam of the Selinco group, and they lost all the money. So which offered a high interest rate, which is beyond the monetary policy initiated interest rate. So this way of doing illegal things rather than going with a stable development plan with the government of Sri Lanka, and and supporting the LNG power plant, which they protest even now, using children even in the Bopitiya Roman Catholic Church in Negombo, and even projects like Katunayak Expressway, which they made an issue to protest, and my proposal, and even the my proposal about the Norochale power plant with China, which they protested, and then what happened was gradually now they never talk about the establishment of the Negombo Stock Exchange or the University of Negombo, because they could always promote those, because those programs only with the government of Sri Lanka bring a stable development into this Catholic belt, which extend from north of Colombo, from Mattakkuliya, those areas, to Colombo 15 to about Talemana area. So now even the University of Talemana, so these projects, they never promote stable economic growth and economic development project with the legitimate governments in Colombo. Rather, they unethically branches of Selinco, branches of Vanik Incorporation and stockbrokers, these type of things they promote, and then Benedict Catholic Institute, and they later they get into a mess because these things are not based on sound moral legal principles. Rather than being based on principle, unethical businessmen, an unethical way of doing things they follow, because this reflects their mind of believing in something and doing, rather than doing certain things which are based on certain principles of morality, ethics. And this is the downfall of the Roman Catholic Church in Sri Lanka. And ultimately, what will happen is their believers would no more believe them, the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka, but would rather they would need the support of the Sri Lankan government to sustain their communities. So to prevent this, the Roman Catholic people, Church of Sri Lanka rather, not the people, the Roman Catholic Church disrupt the long-term strategic projects in the coastal areas. And not only that, they take children and protest about the Muthurajavilla, LNG power plant. So Muthurajavilla LNG power plant has nothing, they are going to benefit the children's future there, by giving electricity to everybody. So in the Sri Lanka's national power grid, and also to people, living, families, children, everyone in the coastal Catholic belt from Negombo, Colombo 15, Mattakkuliya up to Talemana area. So, this type of disruption, and on the other hand, they are, I think, strategically in the long term, maybe in the very long term. Now, in economics, we have short term, medium term, long term, and very long term. Here, I think it's very long term. They try to isolate the Roman Catholic populated areas in the coastal belt from probably from Colombo 15, Mattakkuliya to Talemana, without allowing the government to make any strategic development, and thereby they try to make it like their own independent sovereign area. I think this is what is happening, because we can see the Sri Lankan Tamil conflict evolved in the north, and then due to the COVID-19 pandemic related Muslim burial cremation issue, this became a political issue rather than following the constitutional law of Sri Lanka, which clearly proved a cremation based on our constitutional law, which I explained earlier. So then it became like the burial, cremation, and ultimately it became burial. At that point, United Nations Human Rights Commission put Sri Lanka into United Nations resolution against the Sri Lankan government. And I think now the Muslim community have certain rights for a sovereign nation in East. Sri Lankan Tamils have already got their, together with the Sri Lankan Muslims, international claims for some sovereignty. And similarly, I think the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka tried to gain some sovereignty for these areas in the coastal belt, to run them in the long term. And Sri Lanka government is falling into this trap here. And I think, fortunately, the Sri Lankan Indian Tamils claim for sovereignty in the hilltop area collapsed because of the, passing away of its Sri Lankan Workers' Congress leader, Saumamathi Thondaman, and subsequently Mr. Arugaman Thondaman also did not take it up because of loyalty to the Sri Lanka state. And also his son also never take it up, since I propose opening of the University of Hatton, in the central, areas of Sri Lanka for the Sri Lankan Indian population, to give them higher education, in fact, with faculty of medicine, faculty of engineering, faculty of commerce and management, faculty of arts, faculty of law, etc. So University of Hatton already been established, and other university in Diyathalava, government already upgraded the Diyathalava Government Institute of Surveying next to the Sri Lanka Military Academy military installation, because when I went there, I saw Institute of Surveying of Sri Lanka located there. And later, my research found that no doctors, no lawyers, no engineers, no accountants, no bankers, right? Not even a sales manager, no teachers or no lecturers in the universities have emerged from the Sri Lankan Indian Tamil community in the central areas of Sri Lanka, who continue to be like tea pluckers. They are, ladies, and their children end up as, domestic servants in Colombo elite families, right? And they work in shops and hotels as, various small jobs, but no education to them. So this is why I just suggested University of Hatton and University of, the second university, in addition to the University of Hatton, another university in Diyathalava to support exclusively the University of Hatton to support the higher educational degree needs of the Sri Lankan Indian Tamil community, and University of Diyathalava to support the higher education and educational needs of the Sinhala Buddhist peasant who are the other majority in this Nuwara district, and also Matale district with a population of Sri Lankan Muslim community, and also Badulla district children get admission to the University of Uva and so these prominently district of Nuwara district. So now the government already did it, and I think the University of Negombo and then government must proceed with the same strategy to prevent any claim for sovereignty for coastal belt by the Roman Catholic Church of Sri Lanka, which they are trying to do in the very long term.